This Dicebreaker video is sponsored by Wild Bills. Ditch the manufactured flavors. Your taste buds deserve better. Treat yourself to Wild Bill's premium handcrafted soda pop. Mouth-watering beverages that allow you to escape to the most interesting places imaginable. Cheers to refusing the drink from the mainstream. Cheers to kick-ass canned. Cheers to being veteran-owned and operated. At Wild Bills, flavor isn't everything. It's the only thing. Use discount code CHEERS15 for 15% off your first order.
Hello and welcome back to the third and final episode of our Avatar Legends RPG Let's Play. We are once again joined by our guest Games Master, Simon Moody. Simon, please give us the spiel. Who are you? What are we playing today? And let's get back into this thing.
Yeah, I'm Simon. I'm a pro GM for Magpie Games and a moderator for the Discord, and I'm here to showcase Avatar Legends, the role-playing game based on the world of Avatar: The Last Airbender and The Legend of Korra. It's been a great time. It is a game where you play heroes in the four nations trying to bring balance to the world, like your favorite heroes. So, playing across different eras of history, doing the best that you can, and learning about yourself and the world as well in the process. Our particular group of heroes have been trying to right some wrongs in the Western Earth Kingdom during the 100-Year War, and we're going to find out just how an explosive a conclusion we can reach by the end of the session. Yeah, this game's coming out very soon, and it's on Kickstarter now, so if you like what you see, you can back it and get all the updates as they come in real time.
Alrighty, so we cut back in to midway through the plan.
Yes. So the plan, as you may recall, was to try and disrupt these Fire Nation soldiers who are going to, presumably, as far as you know, go and burn down this entire forest just to get to one Robin Hood-esque hero. And there's a lot of people who are going to be caught in the crossfire in that. So someone, a very impassioned local rebel named Tai, has gathered the group together to try and sabotage this fireworks festival, because the fireworks are right next to the military encampment, and if you can blow them up, you'll probably take the soldiers out and disable their ability to proceed and cause havoc. Chaos is going to emerge. So what's just happened is the plan is in action. The plan is falling apart a little bit, but we're trying to recover. Karru is distracting some guards and has just smashed open the front gates to this military garrison. Shur has ramen bended his way into getting into the fireworks storehouse.
Shur has.
Baku. Yeah. Shur has been carrying the ramen. Sorry. Baku's done this. Shur and Vabeau have had this wonderful heart-to-heart about trust and forgiveness, and we're going to see how it all pans out. So Karru has disabled these guards, these Earth Kingdom guards in the front, who were just stunned. So Karru is able to do whatever Karru wants to do. Shur and Baku are waiting impatiently for Shur and Vabeau to catch up. I think, like,
probably eating the
what
last
is Baku
of the
doing
ramen at this point.
Yeah,
just kind of sat leaning against next to the hole, the very neat hole, perfectly executed.
Behold my
just having like an extra spoon or two, while waiting for Shur and Vabeau. So
I think Vabeau is gonna look pointedly at Shur again and be like, "You got this." Like her eyes are saying, "You got this."
And then Shur is gonna nod. I got this. Okay.
And then Vabeau is gonna she's gonna, I don't know how this where we are about in relation to the warehouse. I imagine we were on a rooftop or something watching this.
Yeah, let's say that you're on a rooftop. So you're kind of a couple stories, like 2 stories up, on kind of a corner market, and you're looking down at Baku, who's like looking up at you in the shadows, kind of going like, "Get down here."
Vabeau is gonna after she's given Shur that look, she's gonna drop down, so she's hanging like off this roof, drop down onto the next level, and then like I don't know how far up this roof is.
2 stories, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah. She's gonna like make her way stealthily down the side of the building.
Spider climbing
Drop.
down.
Yeah. And then she's gonna drop onto the floor, and then like scurry over to Baku and Shur.
Yeah. Shur's gonna follow suit, and she's gonna just less of like a acrobatically based getting the way down, but more of like a just heaving herself down with her muscles. I don't know.
Yeah.
She's
And
got
Wait,
muscles.
you're going? Are you going over to Shur and Baku then?
We
I thought we
in the
we discussed
in the discussion. No, in the discussion, didn't you say that you were going to get the firework thing? You're going to do that.
And then I said to you
To go help.
You need to go and help.
Okay, fine, right.
You need to go.
Look,
you
the
need
logistics,
to go and help
the
Karru.
the willingness is there. The logistics I wasn't clear on.
Right.
But sure is. Okay, yeah. Sure.
Right.
All right, yeah, so then I'm going to go and, I'm going to try and, like, maybe get to, like, the back of the military encampment so I can just maybe do, like, a surprise attack on anyone who might be in Karru's way.
so you're going to
just
try
kind
and
of
like flank
pincer.
around. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, got it. So what we see is the Vabeau climbing down, very like Assassin's Creed parkour, very quick and quiet. And Sure, are you wearing armor?
Yeah, probably. I mean, she's probably covered up like any Fire Nation regalia on it, but yeah.
But it's like some kind of like light chain or something like that, right? So you're like bouldering, right? Like hand hold down, boom, boom, right? And you break off in 2 directions. So there's chaos and there's fighting going on outside the camp, this garrison. There's this hole that's just been punched through it with this giant chunk of rock that Karru has smashed. So I think like the 2 of you maybe make eye contact as you run past, and Shur vaults over the hole and like flanks around the back, because you can get around the back of the tents. So you're gonna pull off this pincer maneuver, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
So we see you running, and then for Baku and Vabeau, the 2 of you are by the side of this warehouse. What do you do as you sneak inside?
Okay, so Vabeau like gets down like to Baku's level, which is not much shorter than her, I can imagine. She said, "Right, I have a very, very important job that you are perfect to pull off. You in?"
Is this the
That's the spirit.
Why are you doing this to everyone, Vabeau?
So,
Plans? I hate them.
I'm going to give you some fireworks. You're going to put them in this cauldron. You and Shur are going to wander to the military base with those fireworks. While you do that, I'm going to set the fireworks off here in the warehouse. So we have explosion here, we have explosion there, big explosion. Sound good?
Yes.
There
Baku's
you
just kind of
go.
like nodding along at this point. He's been completely thrown. He thought he was, everything was going very smoothly. He was like, for once, perfectly executing, and this has just like thrown him back into disarray.
Look.
But he's just happy to help.
Yeah, you made a great hole. But shut up, Mr.
Pat me
Whalen.
on the head as you say this. It's just
So
like, good job.
condescending. You're completely destroying the entire plan.
I'm
Baku,
not destroying the plan. This
Also,
is still
I love the
plan.
idea that it's just like, okay, I want you to send your beloved animal companion in and blow it up.
She said send them both in. It's not lit.
Yeah, blow yourself up as well.
she's not going out alone. Okay, like Baku recovers himself a little bit. He's kind of like, he's been thrown by what he thought was a very well executed plan so far, but it's kind of like, okay, Shu duty calls and puts the remainder of the cauldron in front of Shu, and Shu just licks the whole thing clean, because if there's any like ramen left in there,
You're
it's
a
gonna
waterbender.
damp the fuses.
You can just
Look,
get
She's
that
got
out.
this.
Yeah, but she's earned it. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
She's going for it. She just tucks
What am I gonna
in.
do? Just water bend it out onto the floor?
Yeah.
Like, come on. It's only a few drips anyway, because most of it went into the brick and and Shu's
Yeah.
mouth. So we've got a licked clean cauldron
Yep.
to
Perfect.
put these fireworks in.
Yep. So what Vabeau's going to do? She's going to run into the warehouse. Presumably, it's absolutely filled to the brim, stuffed to the brim with fireworks.
Oh, as soon as you get in, it is wall to wall barrels
Yeah.
of firecrackers and rockets. If for my New Englanders out there, it looks like a New Hampshire like fireworks clearance warehouse. It's just it's a mess. It's just everything is just piles of explosives.
Yeah.
Pretty expensive insurance policy.
Yes. They go
So
all out.
She's gonna grab as much as she can, and fit like it into the cauldron. So firecrackers, gunpowder, whatever. Stick it in the cauldron until it's full.
Right.
Yeah, I think as you're doing that as well, Baku's like trying to look calm and like confident in this, but at some point it's like, maybe I'll do that. A whole firebending thing, fireworks, explosives, water. Let me handle it, and kind of like fills up what you've left so far, so just the very top, and then puts it back on Shu's back.
Okay.
Shoe drops like 2 inches.
Oh.
Snaking along. The
Looks
floor.
up at you a little bit betrayed, like, oh, this is heavier than I thought it would be.
Just like I know.
It's one flat boy. Oh, sorry, one
Yeah,
flat girl.
Yeah, she's the soup wasn't enough. She's gonna need a whole nother cauldron of soup after.
Oh,
this,
for
so
sure.
she's
Yeah,
not
I mean,
sorry.
surely. I mean, the soup must have been pretty heavy too. I'm sure she'll be fine.
Yeah, but the soup she knew was gonna, she'd get hers out of that. She's not gonna eat any fireworks.
Right.
I mean, look, as our leader, Shu deserves the best. So
Okay, so yeah, once that's filled up, once
Yep.
Baku's kind of finished filling it up, she's gonna look back at Baku and go, right, I believe in you. You can get in there, you can get these fireworks in there. I will go and join you as soon as this lot is taken care of.
Vabeau's just gonna leave us. She had second thoughts, and she was like, "Nah."
Actually, this whole, rebellion thing is not quite
Lying.
what it cracked up to
Yeah.
be.
The Fire Nation were pretty good now that I think about it.
You don't have that bad of a deal running around on the streets. Right. Why'd that leave? Okay, so you've got your pot full of explosives, and you start trundling in the direction of the camp, right? So I think you're like kind of trying to sneak out of the back door, and as you do, there are some Earth Kingdom folks who are here to help with the festival as well. It's not just soldiers who are around here, and so as you start walking, you hear voices from the back of this warehouse, and a group of people are like, I want all of those kegs over here, I want the snapdragons on the left side, and can you please make sure that nobody touches the blue ones? You look in the cauldron and there's like 6 blue firecrackers on the top. What do you do?
Wait, who are we talking to?
Vabeau and
Baku.
Baku. You
So
hear
they're all-
there are people coming like around the corner
Oh,
out
God,
the back
there
door
are
of this
civilians.
warehouse.
Uh-oh. There are civilians coming
There
into
are
the warehouse
civilians coming into the
to
warehouse.
take stuff. I think Vabeau is gonna suddenly look at Baku and be like, okay, change your plan. Never change your plan. She's
Oh,
gonna
God.
run over.
God.
She's gonna run over, grab fireworks at any more of the blue ones.
Oh yeah, there's a bunch. Yeah.
She's gonna grab just the blue ones and whatever she could hold and just run up to Baku and be like, we're just gonna go to the camp. We're just gonna go to the camp, blow that up. And then... because she doesn't want to blow up the warehouse if there are civilians in it. Like, they'll die.
Get him out. It's metagaming.
How?
Get away.
Get him out.
Yeah.
Shoot them.
So they come into the building as you're doing this. You're like, you're what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? You're jamming more of them into the pot. You're holding a few.
Like a little
You're
raccoon.
little trash panda with your fireworks as the door creaks open, and like a group of these party goers. They're wearing like colorful uniforms. They're clearly like the stage techs, but they're also dressed to entertain, and they just stare at the two of you and the cat gator with a cauldron full of fireworks, and they go, "What are you doing here?"
In this moment, can Baku suddenly takes charge.
Yes.
And Baku is like, Bo, time for Plan Z. And
That definitely wasn't on the list of plans.
are there buckets in this warehouse for, like, I would guess they will have fire buckets.
Oh, for
right,
sure.
in case,
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I think Baku is going to draw all the water possible out of those buckets and essentially just blast, like if they've just walked in through the front door, just
Like a
want
riot
to blast
hose.
them back out through the door. But as they go, like waterbenders can freeze water.
Oh,
right?
yeah,
Am I-
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, just double check. It's been a little while. But basically make a slip and slide.
Yeah.
As far away as possible. So blast them back onto like a slide of ice
go,
and just get them
"Whoa!"
away. And as this happens, we scarper out the back.
Right.
And I gesture to Vabeau as in like, you need to light those fireworks now.
Now.
Like, yeah, like we're getting out of here. They're gone. Like, let's go.
Yeah.
Like, it's time. Like, forget the plans. Like, there are no more plans apparently. Like, let's just
Only action. Yeah.
yeah.
I
It's,
think-
it's plans A through Z happening at once.
Yeah, the whole list, yeah. I think you're relying on your skills and training to get them out of the way and make a distraction. So go ahead and roll and add your focus.
All right, +1 focus. I rolled a 4. +1 is 5.
One thought is that you do have what's your roll at currently?
My roll's at +1 roll.
Okay. What you could do is live up to your role, because you are a protector of those who are suffering, and you're not supposed to like let innocents come to harm, right? So you could live up to your principle of not hurting people and saying like, I'm not doing what I want to do, and it's not freedom, it's about like keeping people safe. If you'd like, and get a bonus to your role that you might not have normally.
Yeah, let's say I think that is like, again, it's the first time that Baku's really kind of taken charge and is actually living up to the hero that
Right.
he really wants to be. It's one of those in the moment
Yeah.
things. So yeah, I think that applies there.
Great. So instead of marking fatigue, because you are the icon, when you live up to your role through the responsibilities of your burden and tradition, despite opposition or danger, there's danger here, you're going to shift your balance twice towards your role instead of just
Wow.
once, and you don't mark fatigue. In
So
addition,
now
you clear fatigue equal to your role, if you have any.
I don't have any, but I'm now on +3 roll.
Okay, yeah,
So
you're
I've
like,
maxed
I am the
out that
protector.
end of the track. Yeah.
This is what I was
Getting
born
very
to do.
confused between roll with an E and roll with two
Yeah,
L's.
this is
So with your +3, what is your result now?
so do I include focus as well?
You
So-
don't include your focus. You replace your focus.
Okay, so I just replaced focus. So I rolled 4 +3 is 7.
Okay, there
So-
you go. That's what you need to make this happen
just
without
edging into the bottom of a
consequence.
success by
Yeah.
partial success. Yeah.
So on a partial success, you're going to do it imperfectly. I will tell you how your approach might lead to unexpected consequences. You can accept those consequences or mark fatigue. I think what happens is you're making this sheet of ice, right? And they start slamming back. I think what's going to happen is they're going to bump into like the stage that's kind of off to the side where they're carrying the fireworks to, and it's going to, like, you can see if they hit the stage, they're going to start jostling things. They won't cause a fire, but people will know that you're here because
Yeah.
something's going wrong. They're tumbling over. They might pull down a curtain or something that's blocking the view of what's happening. Do you want to take that consequence, or do you want to mark a fatigue and say that, like, you're smoothing the ice sheet or something to keep them from hitting it?
I think that consequence makes most sense here because it's us like acting in like a split second.
Yes.
So I don't think I've got time to aim that ice sheet anywhere than somewhere that's not an exploding
Outright.
warehouse. Yeah.
So they go tumbling.
Let's be honest, they're gonna notice in a
Someone's going to notice in a
Oh
few
yeah,
minutes.
that warehouse is gonna go back. Yeah.
And one of them like spins around. They're not hurt, but they grab like a sheet, and part of the curtain comes falling down. So we jump cut to the front of the stage. There's some performers who are doing this comedy routine, sort of a stand-up bit with people in the wings. And the gag is that one of the actors is like hiding somewhere, and they're going to come out and do something. Like, whoa, I hope nothing terrible is hiding for us behind this bush. The curtain goes rip, and there's someone like changing in costume. They're not in their skivvies, but they're like they're about to put on a dragon suit. And they're like slowly holding the paper mache hat that is the dragon head. And then behind them, a bunch of people go, "Hey, is that a cat gator? What is..." So people
With the
know
cauldron
that
on its
something's
back.
going on there. Someone's like, "Security, can you check that out?" Back on the other side of things, in the camp, Shur, you've run around the backside of these tents.
Yeah.
And you see the familiar face of Captain Amano, this guy who you've had a tussle with already. You weren't expecting him to be here. You're not sure why he's here. But you see him from behind come out, and he starts barking orders. I want reinforcements in the front. Make sure there's no troublemakers. This is the last thing I need on top of everything else.
Okay. Overhearing that he's sending reinforcements to the front, I think maybe this is a good opportunity to like take out a few people at the back before they kind of are moving forward and like So I think she's going to, as quietly as she possibly can, take a more stealthy approach and just kind of maybe even using the little fire blast thing that she was taught in the flashback. To kind of just like
little
take a few
ambushes
people out
from the side.
Exactly.
So it sounds like you're relying on your skills and training, because it's not just using your firebending, you're using your military expertise. This is a drill that you've run multiple times. We like flashback maybe to a scene of you like a whack-a-mole setup.
Yeah.
So there's a tunnel that's been dug and these holes, and it's this exercise where you're supposed to like pop out of the trenches and ambush targets with the fire. And we're like, okay, this is the same thing, but here. So go ahead and roll and add your focus.
Okie dokie. My focus is okay. That's +1. That's all right. Okay, that's not good. However, okay. So I rolled 4.
Okay.
+1 is 5, but I think I have a bunch of stuff that I can use.
You are prepared.
I'm prepared. Yes. So if I were to add, I'll use prepared because I know how the reinforcements work. I've been in this situation, so
you are literally trained for this moment.
Yes.
Yeah. So what does it look like as you pop out and you're like, thump, 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 thump?
Yes. No, literally, I just look like I'm a weird human gun. But yeah, I just kind of
evocative.
just and I'm like kind of like rolling and diving behind things, so hopefully they won't notice me as I'm doing it. And just kind of trying to basically take out different people around the captain, just so kind of he'll end up turning around like, "Where are my men? What?" So yeah.
So I think the unexpected consequence is you're totally good at taking out these people from the ground, but not necessarily when someone else is observing. There's a guard tower that's nearby, and you see there's a guard up there who is yelling like, "Down there! There's someone down there! She's around the corner of the tent!" So, do you want to be spotted
Sorry, Kermit.
by someone? I'm thinking there's someone dangerous. We should deal with that. Maybe.
Kermit, why did you work for the Fire Nation?
Yeah. Things have been really hard on Sesame Street. It's not easy being green painted red. Would you like to take that consequence of being spotted, or would you like to mark a fatigue?
I currently have no fatigue.
Mhm.
I think I'll take a fatigue. That would
Yeah.
be. That
I
would
think
be
what
cool.
that means is you like throw a quick fire puff up
Yeah.
at him, and he goes, "Oh!" and he goes tumbling off the tower into a hay pile. Like, "Oh!"
That's Jerry. Jerry is such a. Oh, Jerry. I remember you. Oh, yeah.
I know that guy, right?
Yeah.
So someone has been calling, like, they know, obviously, that someone's down here, but they don't know where you are yet. You're still relatively hidden.
Cool.
Which is great. And you do take them out with the fire blast. They're like, they duck and roll, or they get KO'd, or whatever it is. In the front of the gate, you see, like, you hear puff, 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 puff as these fire blasts pop off inside the camp, Karru. You can kind of see the blasts, too, and you see there are soldiers who are starting to mobilize in your direction. The guards in front of you are still stunned. What do you do?
So, stop me if this sounds stupid, but as the hammer, I have an adversary.
You do.
My goal is to bring them down, and they are like a guard sergeant. And I'm hoping that this is where he's stationed, Sergeant Hoare, because I want to call him out.
Ooh.
Because I don't want them to think that this is related. So I want to shout out, Sergeant Hall, where are you?
Oh,
Come
yeah.
face me.
Yeah, you
it's
know
like-
that this is kind of his beat. Because
Yeah.
you're from the Earth Kingdom. You kind of have a sense of, like, this is the guy. And what...
I don't know if I've mentioned this, but I live in that forest they want to burn
Oh,
down.
yeah. Okay, so you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe you've tangled with this guy before, one assumes.
Oh, 100%. This guy is, like, definitely, in my eyes, quite corrupt as well. Like, this isn't just, like, some guard who has tried to stop me doing crime. This guy is, like, even worse than I am.
Yeah.
Like, there's no way that he can get away with this. So my goal is to try and expose them.
As like
but
a...
I would be... Yeah, I would
corrupt.
be more than happy with just beating him up.
Yeah. So I think
how
as
weak
you
he is.
see the soldiers rushing, like, one of them stops. What kind of a person is Haw? Are they, like, really... Is he, like, really cruel, or...
Yeah, he's quite sinister. He's a bit of an older man, so he's got a sort of salt and pepper beard, but like he's still very well put together. Like he has like a very sort of like strong chin and like a sort of like quite long beard. And when he sort of walks around, people are quite intimidated by him, and he uses that to skim off the top, and like, yeah, he's a real like Prince John kind of
Sneering.
kind of thing. Like he's,
Okay,
yeah,
got it.
he's very slimy.
Yeah.
Would
I
you
want
describe
to...
him as being a bit like the Sheriff of Nottingham from that Robin Hood film with Kevin Costner, also known as Alan Rickman?
He's not Alan Rickman.
He's more Kevin Costner. No, someone else.
Whoa!
So yeah, I think he has a very distinct bearing. I think like he likes people knowing where he comes from. Maybe he's got not some kind of spur. I want to say like he maybe he doesn't ride a Shur, those like big mole creatures that have incredible senses of smell. But he's probably like a cavalier of some kind. I think like he likes to patrol around on his mount.
When you hear his spurs,
You hear the spurs
jingle
jangle. Right, exactly. That's the moment I
before
want to
you
have.
see him. Yeah,
The
that's
Western.
It's when people hide away. They're
Right.
like, oh god, he's coming.
It's clink, 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 and we kind of the camera pans slowly up from the spurs up to his chiseled jawline. What kind of a voice does he have? Is it like deep?
I think he's
high?
got a bit of a southern drawl.
Yeah. I know that voice. I've heard it. But I haven't seen you in a long time, Karru. I didn't think you'd be a fool to show your face around here.
He's stretching out again. He's always preparing himself for a fight. You gotten fat, Sergeant Haw. Stop working. Stop working out. Still punching down.
You got stupid, Karru. You've been letting all that hot air get to your head. Surprised you're not a firebender with that that kind of attitude.
I think Karru spits on the floor.
Yeah.
And sort of like he's not making eye contact throughout this chat, but then he sort of flicks up to make the eye contact and says, "Well, we all know your relation with the Fire Nation, don't we, Sergeant Haw? We all know the way you sold us out."
I serve the law. And I don't know what you think you're implying with your words, Karru. I do what needs to be done. And he's like been spur towards you. And he digs his heel in with his spur, and he just kind of puts the foot down and gets into a stance. And he brings his hands up, sort of like this. And he goes, "Are we gonna keep jawing all day? Or again we settle this like civilized men?"
Well, I'll tell you what, Sergeant Haw. If you're all about serving the law, there's a lot of laws I've been breaking today. And you're the next thing to be broken. And at that point, he's like, in full rage, starts charging forward.
And he just does
like,
the
head
little
first.
fingers. Yeah. We're going to jump into a quick exchange for the two of you. So, what is your approach?
I will say, just quickly, fighting your adversary, when you enter into a fight against your adversary, you clear all fatigue.
That's right.
Yay.
You are invigorated by fighting this person. Like, yeah, I'm bringing on. So you are back to 0, which is very good for you.
Yeah.
You're at 4 out of 5 last I checked. So what are you going to do? Defend and maneuver, advance and attack, or evade and observe?
I'm definitely advancing and attacking. I'll probably strike. I think because I'm already angry, right?
Yes.
So I can't use my fuel by anger again.
You're just going in, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I'm just going in for a strike.
Okay.
Just going full force.
Yeah. All right. So he, I'm going to reveal, chose to and his soldiers are not doing anything. Like the soldiers that were with him were like,
They know
"Oh,
better."
this is his deal. Okay, we're just going to stand and back you up with our spears." So he's choosing to defend and maneuver. He's waiting for you to come to him. And so he is an NPC, and NPCs get balance tracks, just like players do. They believe in something, and the more that their balance track goes up, the more techniques they can use, but the closer they come to being taken out because they lose their balance. So he's already at +1 to his balance track. Whatever it is, we don't know what it is. You can find out in combat, but he's going to get to do 2 things. So he's going to choose to retaliate and ready. So first, he's going to mark a fatigue, and he gets to change himself or the environment. And what he's going to do is prepare himself for your strikes. He knows this is his fight. He's fought you before. He loves it. So he's prepared, and he's going to retaliate and steel himself for your blows. Each time you inflict fatigue, a condition, or shift his balance, he deals a fatigue back to you.
Okay.
So you see he's got his hands in these positions. He's got a wide stance. And as you get closer, he just swings his hands around, kind of making these little fire sparks, like ready to counterattack. So what do you do when you advance an attack? Go ahead and roll with your passion.
Okay. Do you know what? I might roll and then tell you what I'm doing.
Yes. That's exactly what it'll happen. 'Cause we know you're charging in. We don't know what you're doing.
Oh, that's very good.
Ooh.
That is... I rolled a 5 and a 6, and I've got +2 passion.
Whoa.
Okay. So you get to use 2 basic or mastered techniques. You can't pick the same thing twice, but you can use 2 things.
Okay. So on top of striking, basically.
Yeah, you could strike and overwhelm. You could strike and pressure. You could smash and pressure.
I think I want to... So I'm already striking, but I think I want to smash as well.
Okay.
And what I would like to do, because it says I can destroy or destabilize something in the environment, what I want to do, using my bending, I think as I'm running forward, I sort of like spin on my heel a bit and sort of like plant down with like my elbow striking down to the floor, it cracks the earth and sort of like breaks his foundation, which he's balanced on.
Yeah.
And I use that moment of unbalance to then charge forward and give him like a full on like leg spinning upward, heel into the chin kick.
Yeah, I love that. So I think that inflicts the impaired status on him. So he is slowed or off balance. He's going to take one fewer technique next exchange, unless he marks a fatigue. Because he's not used to fighting on this kind of shattered ground now. Awesome. And then you're striking him, right?
Yeah.
So what is that? Are you going to choose to force him to take fatigue or a condition, or let him decide how he kind of takes the hit?
I would take a fatigue myself by forcing him, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so I think I'll let him decide because I'm going to take a fatigue anyway, because he's going to do it back to me.
He is going to, I think, take the condition and then spend his prepared to negate it. He knows you. And I think as the fight resolves, right, you rush in and you just like throw a punch at him, right? Like a couple punches. So he's prepared, and he just uses that momentum, spirals it around. You see the flames, kind of like he's spinning poi, of like block, 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 and like at the very end, he gets one palm in and just bam, hits you in the chest, singeing your clothing as he knocks you backwards. And because we've resolved this exchange, he just smiles at you, drops back into this position, and goes, "You think that's gonna work? You tried that at Longsheng Pass, Karru. I know all your moves."
So Karu's fighting style is relentless.
Yeah.
And I think, like, at this point, the whole sort of, like, I'm trying to get in your head kind of maneuver is literally just water off a duck's back.
Yeah.
He is just not going to stop charging, because I think Karru is not necessarily an expert of technique. He just keeps going and will not be the last person. It will always be the last person
And
standing.
he knows that. So what he's doing is he sees you, like, getting flustered and ready. He's like, "What are you waiting for, Karru? I want you to punch me in the face. I want to see if you can actually do it this time. Yeah, give me a real good shiner. Give me something to remind me by on these long, cold nights on the road." He is trying to shift your balance towards force. Do you want to take it?
Sure.
Yeah, you're like, of course I'm going to punch you in the face. Why wouldn't I? So as you get ready to rush in, sure, you can see this. Because you've just popped off these guards. Everyone's like panicking. You turn around the corner of one of these tents and you see there's guards just standing there with their weapons like, we don't know what we're going to do. And there's this guy, this sergeant, who's like a good fighter, a very good fighter. Maybe you even know Sergeant Haw because you're in the military. You've heard of Sergeant Haw's reputation as this really rough customer. And you see Karru is ready to fight. And Karu's not going to stop. What do? Do you get involved in this?
Oh, I mean, I don't want to get in the way of this one-on-one ultimate showdown that they're having. So I think if I can, like, at the very least try to, like, knock back some of his confidence, the general's confidence, Haw's confidence, by taking out, like, a few of the people with spears behind him, like his backup, I think that would maybe shake him up a little bit. So I'm going to act as a supporting role here.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
So you, I think, might be trying to rely on your skills and training here, but in this moment, because there's so much chaos, I actually think you might be pushing your luck to try and get up and take these guys out without anyone noticing. Which means that you're rolling with your passion.
With my
if
passion.
you want, you have your best friend. Bobo
I do have
could
my
help
best
you
friend. Yes.
push your luck. If you mark the fatigue and you roll with creativity instead of your passion stat.
I would love to do that. Something I will say. So, you know, earlier on when I did something that was against the plan to do the thing, would that have maybe cleared my guilty condition because it was making a personal sacrifice to absolve my guilt?
Interesting, yes. So there are ways you can clear conditions by doing different things, and you are making this kind of personal sacrifice of saying like, I'm putting my ego on hold. Yeah. I think there's a little bit more cost that usually has to come with something like that, but I think in this moment, I think it might make sense to let you clear your guilty.
Thank you.
Yeah.
In that case, yes, I will look at Bobo, and I'll just be like, maneuver 6A, go.
Bobo salutes and rushes. Corner
I don't know
blitz.
how he
go.
does that. Yeah, I would love to push my luck with Bobo. So
Roll with your creativity.
Shur flips her baseball bat.
It's like a switch.
come on, Pikachu. Cool. So I'm rolling with creativity. Yes, and I will mark a fatigue. And I'm rolling. Okay, cool. All right. So I rolled an 8 on the dice, and with my creativity, that's a +2. So that is a 10.
Okay, you're gonna do it, but it's gonna cost you to scrape by. I will tell you what it costs you.
Okay.
I think rushing in and getting all of this done making sure you're not caught is exhausting. I'm gonna say that you take a fatigue to just like take these people out, and the rest of them like look around like, hey, where did you go? Because you're like disappearing back in the shadows. And Haw, who's like ready to fight, kind of hears this behind him, and is momentarily distracted and goes like, the hell's going on back there? He's not entirely sure that he's got the backup he needs. Speaking of not having the backup, here comes the cavalry. Baku and Vabeau, you've been sneaking into the camp. There's chaos everywhere. Like, you've seen fire blasts. There are some fireworks going off in general. That's not the display, but people set off firecrackers in the streets and stuff. They're excited, so there's some noise on top of that. But you can see there are some people getting ready to signal alarm bells, because clearly something is wrong here. The gate is crashed. And you hear like someone blow out a horn, like a as you're clawing through this chaotic camp. What do the two of you do?
Can I? Right. So I'm still holding some fireworks. I haven't let.
You're
those
still
go.
holding the
Still
clutching
holding
onto them
some.
for dear
Yeah,
life.
yeah,
Gripping
baby.
them.
Yeah, I'm holding some. I'm gonna look at Baku and be like, "Let's go," and then like fling a fireball like at the warehouse.
Ooh. So you're gonna like light the whole thing on fire.
Yeah,
Nice.
we're going, baby. Let's do
You're
it.
going for it.
It's time.
All right.
Yeah.
I think this
I'm
is
gonna
relying
try
on your
and get
skills
it.
and
Like,
training.
is there a window? Is there like a window in the warehouse?
I think. Yeah, let's say there's a window.
Can Vabeau try and aim it through the window so
Yeah,
it just
just
hits
huck
the
the fireball
firework?
through the window.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's just
yeah.
a simple shuttered thing. It's not like a glass pane. It's just
Yeah, yeah.
to whatever. So you throw the
Yeah.
fireball through it. It just kind of bounces. Right.
She's
That's-
gonna fling the fireball, and then she's gonna throw one of the fireworks like into the camp towards some of the officers, and just yell "catch!" and then like also throw a fireball at the firework.
Okay, okay.
Fire everywhere. Chaos,
Yeah.
right?
You're right.
Okay.
This is so different from the original plan here, right?
There was no plan. Okay, it sounds like you're relying on your skills and training to create this distraction. You know how to bend fire to the best of your abilities. So go ahead and roll and add your focus.
Yeah. And her firebending style is like quite subtle, which I think maybe allows her to get that fireball through that glass, like that window, like
You arc it perfectly. Yes.
yeah, arc it. Well, the only issue here is, everyone, is that my focus is -1.
Same.
Could you be living up to your principle of action?
Oh, this is action. This is pure action.
So
Okay.
use action
So
step, right?
to do that, mark a fatigue. You're going to add whatever your action is instead of your focus.
I mean, that's +1, so that's better.
That'll do.
That'll do.
It's better for sure. And I think there's a cost here which is like the chaos of everything around you, the safety of everyone. I think in this moment, if you're living up to your action, we see the fury that has come out of you from your past.
Yeah. She sees these Fire Nation soldiers, and she literally says "catch" and flings the firework at them, and then goes to like fling the fire at that. She wants to cause maximum carnage at the moment.
Nice.
So,
It's like a
right,
Catherine
okay.
wheel.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a 4.
Okay.
So that's a 4 overall that
Yep.
you've rolled.
Wow.
Yep.
Well,
Did you get snake eyes? What did you get?
I got
2
a
and a
2 and a 1.
2 and a 1. Okay, hang on. I might have something.
okay.
Maybe. Because I'm thinking of the holds I have.
Oh, you do. You still have your plan holds to spend.
Yes. Back when the plan was a thing. But
It was so long ago.
Yeah.
Those
This
halcyon
is the
days.
plan.
so I don't know if this would work, Simon, but I know I can aid someone
Yes.
to add +1 to their roll. Can I use both of my holds to aid twice and add +2 to this?
You could.
Would that work?
You could.
Wait, so you've got 4.
That would be a
That'll be a
6.
6.
Still has
Oh.
one more than you up. Are you still?
Okay.
It's
Are you still
fine, just-
prepared, Vabeau?
No, I've used my
You've used
preparedness.
that.
I've used it to
Well.
help. To help.
Plus.
Good,
Yeah.
good hustle, everybody. It was a
Okay,
noble
cool.
effort.
Well, no, I'll help you out another way. It's fine. You carry on.
It's
Yeah.
fine.
I
I'll take
think
I'll
what
take
happens.
the complication.
Yeah. So yeah, I get to make a move. So something happens
Yeah.
here. Things don't go the way that you intended to.
Story of this arc, I think.
Yeah.
You nail that throw. It's perfect. The
Oh,
throw
yeah.
itself was great.
Oh,
And you huck the fireworks at the soldiers, and you go catch. And maybe there's a string of something else too, because you're like so emboldened by everything.
yeah.
You throw the blue ones at them. The blue ones, the blue fireworks, are explosive. They are just, as soon as the flame hits the actual powder, pew 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 pew, they just start shooting out. It's a shooting star. It's supposed to be a meteor storm, is what it's supposed to look like. Just hundreds of these little sparks just flying everywhere, lighting the camp ablaze and the town.
Oh,
You see the flames start to spread to that nearby stage, and people go, ooh, ah, and then the actors on stage are like, ah, exactly right. And they just look up like, this isn't part of the show. This isn't, we need to move. You need to go. And there's like a fire brigade of firebenders who are rushing up, who are trying to extinguish the flames. People are passing buckets around, but the town is now ablaze. And this is not what you intended necessarily. Things are going bad. And there's a flashback for you of your burning home.
You've lived long enough to become the villain.
Yeah.
How does that make you feel to see that you've caused all this extra chaos that you didn't intend?
yeah, I mean, guilty is probably the word.
Mark guilty!
Are we the bad guys?
Baku, you see this chaos everywhere. People are screaming like, oh my god, what's going on? What do we do? How do you respond?
I think Baku is very shaken by it because, again, you know, he's ultimately here to try and rescue everybody, to try and be the hero of the waterbenders, but also earthbenders, you know. And so I think immediately he any water that is around and close by, he starts trying to spray over any flames that are within reach.
Yeah.
You know, he's just using everything at his disposal to try and help extinguish the flames. That's to some degree alongside the firebenders that are doing it, because I assume they're preoccupied anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's just summoning everything he can, like taking water out of drinks and taking water out of like puddles if there are any puddles.
Person
Just-
coming by
yeah.
with a bunch of punch or something for the party. Like, oh,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
sploosh. Go ahead and
Alcohol.
It's alcohol, yeah.
go ahead and roll with your focus.
A little bit of spit that Karru made in
Oh,
here.
yeah. Oh. I got 7.
Okay, so you're gonna do it with some consequences, and I think the consequence is that you're starting to put the fire out. You're calming people down, but because you're helping, you're drawing attention to yourself, and people are like, "Look, a waterbender! We can help! They can help! They can help! Quick, go get more liquids!" And so people are starting to rush over in your direction with like water barrels, bringing attention to your plan here. Do you want to take that or spend the fatigue to do something to kind of negate it, like hiding or something like that?
No, I think that makes
That makes
sense.
sense.
Like at this point, also the warehouse is exploding.
exploding.
There are things
People
going
are
on all
helping
over the
now.
place. So
Right.
exactly, yeah.
Yeah, and it's rough. Okay, so we see this happen, that everything is in chaos. What does happen
Think-
too is that because Vabeau lived up to her principle at some kind of a cost, someone does come up to affirm their allegiance to your group. You gain an ally in the process. So normally it's something like, I don't believe in these rules. These are terrible rules. And someone will come up and you go like, wow, I thought what you said was really impressive. Blah, 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 blah. In this moment, it's a little more chaotic. In this moment, a group of people with green masks rush up in your direction.
Can I just like say that at this point, having seen the carnage,
Yes.
Vabeau is sort of just standing there like, oh god.
Yeah. You're stunned.
It's the meme of the girl in front of the burning.
Yeah. She's like, she has that memory playing in her head of
Yeah.
her house like on fire, because she's like lost control of, like she's let the action kind of like take over.
Yeah.
So she's kind of in a stunned state at the moment as they walk up.
Yeah, and so these Green Fox sympathizers run up and they kind of look at you confusedly, like clearly you're out of it, and they start to shake you like, hey, come on, you need to come back. You've done it. You've done the thing. Ty told us that you were going to create the distraction, and you pulled it off. We're here to help. We're going to get people out. We're going to help you out. So there are these people who are starting to provide you with these additional services, these that you need to stem the tide and potentially escape. They're like, we're going to cover your escape. Back in the fight, right? The camp is surrounded in flames, right? And it's the shot is fire everywhere. We don't see anything else. It's just Karru and Sergeant Haw facing each other, slowly circling each other. And Haw is a firebender. Haw is empowered by all of this flame around him, and he just laps it up. He stands there, throws his hands back, and goes, Karru, you're out of your element, but I'm in mine. What do you do?
Karru is like, he's like slightly out of breath, like he's been fighting, like he's feeling it, and he looks over, sort of ignoring Haw for a second at like the chaos behind, and is like kind of in two minds. It's like, it looks like they've done what needs to be done. Like, should I stay here? But the flames are like surrounding him, and I think he doesn't have much of a choice. And he's still like filled with the anger, and I think at that point he's just like, it's now or never. And I think he's he's gonna, if possible, like I'd like to use the force, not use the force, but but yeah, he's got a +3 force, so I kind of want to do like something incredibly forceful and just sort of put every fiber of my being into something by marking fatigue, if possible.
Yeah, for sure. What do you think that is? Do you want to and try and get him to back down? Do you want to like hit him with everything you've got?
I think probably the second. Yeah, I think I've been breaking the ground up, like trying to break his footing. I almost want to like swallow him. Like I'm just gonna sort of like crash my body into the floor and just sort of break open this crevice to almost like try and swallow him into the earth, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah, just like sink him down so that he just falls rather than fight him per se. You just want him to go away.
Yeah.
Can I maybe help out and use my hold in this situation?
Yes.
And just like, you know, he's like, oh, this is my element, blah blah blah, but Karru's got an ally who can help him out now. So I'm just gonna like use the fire against General Haw and just kind of like it'll just kind of like him in the back so that it'll just kind of like shove him forward a bit and throw him off balance, and then you can just see like through like the flickering flame, it's just like Shur is just like, got it, get him.
Come on, boy.
So there's a couple things you can do. You can hang onto your hold and use that to add +1 to whatever Karru's roll is.
Yes.
You could also yell words of encouragement and inspire Karru.
Okay.
Inspiring means you can spend that condition to shift your balance towards a principle of your choice. Now that'll kick you over the edge, right? If you want, you can still do it because you do something, but you'll lose your balance. You'll get to do something really incredible, but it will be at the expense of kind of focusing on force too much. So it's up to Shur kind of how you want to spend the hold ultimately.
I think dramatically that seems like
that's where we're
best
going.
thing. It's like I am so convinced that I need to do everything in me to get rid of Haw and put him in his place. That my own body is going to be at risk.
Yeah. And we see your muscles.
Like he's relentless. He's going to break himself in service of breaking Haw.
Yeah. So what are the words of encouragement that you yell to Karru? Sure.
I think she'll yell something like, "This isn't his element anymore. It's ours together."
Yeah.
Woo!
Friendship.
That was kind of confusing, but all right.
I'm bad with words. Get him.
Yeah, I'm bad with words. Beat him up.
Yeah.
And that's
I'm
all Karru
planning to.
needs.
Sort of like wipes a bit of sweat off it.
Yeah. You're inspired, so you can clear inspired and shift your balance towards force. Okay.
So it goes over the edge.
Yeah. So this is great. I was wondering if we would get to show this off. When you lose your balance, you're always balancing these two edges of yourself, right? Which of these is more important to me? What do I believe in? What do other people tell me I should be doing? If you fall off the track, you focus on that to a degree that's just unhealthy to yourself and to everyone around you. It's okay to be angry sometimes. It's okay to forgive people, but if you go too far in one direction, sometimes things get lost in the cracks. So what happens is you choose to either give in or submit to your opposition. You probably don't want to do that. Lose control of yourself in a destructive and harmful way, or take an extreme action in line with your principle and then flee.
Actually, do you know what? I'm going to do the third. Do I roll for this? Or
You
is this
do not
just me
roll in.
describing what happens? Okay, so here's what I think happens. So after the words of encouragement, like the anger is still like rife inside me. Like force is the only thing I'm caring about right now. I'm losing focus at the other point of my, which I haven't really touched on at all. The other point of my balance, which is care.
Yeah.
Like I'm becoming so violent that like even though Haw is a terrible person, like my actions just aren't really being justified anymore, I think.
Yeah.
And it starts with, that sort of moment of like sheer confidence from Haw. He's just like, I'm literally surrounded by fire, what are you going to do to me? And like I've been breaking up the foundation of this like little battlefield that we have over the time, and just with like a two-fisted smash into the ground, it just shatters open. Just completely like swallowing him into the ground and creating this massive crevice that he's now lying in, and he's sort of like taken aback because I don't think he's ever seen me go this hard before. I think he maybe estimated me a little bit, but also is just like, whoa, what has happened to this guy?
Right.
At which point, I think I charge in, sort of maybe like leaping off one of the hard edges, and just sort of like slam down into him and just keep punching and punching and punching, to the point where it's just like I think people are like, stop, like you're gonna do something very bad if you don't stop hurting. And there's just like that moment where I snap out of it and I look down and maybe like he's really messed up. and like he's maybe sort of like gurgling a little bit. He's and I'm just like, what have I become, sort of. And I think I just run, because I just get completely overwhelmed and just run toward the forest or whatever, just try and find some way home. But I'm just not helpful to anyone anymore.
I'm gonna build on that and say that like the ground was already cracked, right? We already had these kind of like little ground islands before, and when you smash your hands, it's like hell itself is revealed. The earth opens up, the fire like starts spilling out from around it almost, and so he's like on the edge of it, and you just wail, bam, bam. The camera angle is straight up, and every time you're like punching the camera, the glass the glass of the camera like shatters at one point, just has that fracture, and when we look back, we just see there's this human shaped silhouette that has just been punched through the earth. We have no idea where the body is, if he's still alive. He's just like through the ground. And someone, I imagine like Baku and Shur, like, no, get off this guy, stop, he's gone. And you run, you break away from your friends. Meanwhile, Vabeau is like in shock too, and the Green Fox sympathizers are just like, we have to go, this is too much, everything. And they throw down a bunch of smoke bombs to add to the chaos, and they get you out. We cut in our last moment to just the town in flames. There's billowing black smoke coming out from that district. The music is silent. There's nothing but the sound of the cicadas. We're on the outskirts of this village, of Juge village, and the Green Fox groups and Tai are there. Tai is standing there without their mask, and they look at you all like, we did what we had to. The Fire Nation will know never to hurt our people again. Thank you. Clearly not processing like what happened.
I think you've probably found Karru at this
point.
point.
I was going to ask,
I think he's a bit out of it. Like he doesn't really know what's going on anymore. Like he's still sort of processing it. Almost felt like dreamlike, almost, I think, to him, because his force and anger just took over him. And I think maybe Tai says thank you like toward him.
Yes.
But because I think maybe it seems like Tai is maybe like willing to go that extra step too far 100%. As well. I think, and I think Karru's kind of rejecting that and is like not looking at them and just doesn't want to meet their gaze, and is just like looking down at their sort of like hands, which are a bit bloodied and shaking, and it's just like a bit like, don't look at me, this isn't what I wanted, sort of thing.
Tai wants to like clap you on the back, and you are not happy with it. And here's the other thing about what happens when you lose your balance, right? You run away, the group found you, you're calm, you're more or less back to yourself. You clear all your conditions, you clear all your fatigue, and most importantly, you reset your center, your balance track, but your center moves one step towards the principle that you fell off. You are permanently now more in the belief that force is the way to deal with things. More often than not, you're going to rush in and deal with it that way. So Tai is like, no, okay, well this guy's being weird, and then looks at the rest of you and like, you've done good work here. We'll help you reach the Green Fox, and together we can liberate the Earth Kingdom.
Vabeau like looks around the fire, and for a moment, I think on her face there's like a look of like dawning, like, oh, okay, this is kind of the cost of devoting yourself to the cause. But then, like, she looks at like Tai, like outstretched hand, I imagine,
Yes.
and like reaches over and like takes it in, like a solid, like a hand, not a shape, but like a
Predator
like a
handshake.
sort of yeah.
Just a grip. Yeah.
And looks at him with this more resolute face, like resolution on her face, as to be like, yeah, we will help you. Let's take that next step. We're gonna do this.
Shur and Baku, how do you respond to this moment?
Baku.
I think Baku having, again, like, this is one of those moments where he is still relatively, this has been an experience that's shaken him up. Like, it's completely kind of burst his bubble of what he understands of the world. So, and I think being able to take that more kind of confident, like having contributed to this and having stepped up to, save the people in the warehouse and to try and help out the flames, is stood up this time, but it's not a puffed up version. It is a more comfortable kind of standing up straight. He's just like, take us to the Green Fox. It's time for our next step.
Yeah.
And Shur, I think, is going to kind of, glance around at everyone and just kind of nods and kind of realizes that, even though she feels she's been on the wrong side, that's kind of exactly what she has to offer now in this kind of rebellious group. And we'll just kind of nod and look around at everyone and just say, lead the way.
Yeah. With the group very sort of unsure of themselves, but rededicating themselves to the cause, learns what the cost of war is, and it is a war, and it will last for 100 years until someone can do something to bring about balance. Maybe these heroes, maybe someone else, but they've done something to try and do good in the world. And sometimes things get complicated in the process. They don't always go the way that you think they will. The group, I think, starts to walk away as the Green Foxes lead you into the forest. The last thing we see is we cut back into the smoldering ruins of the camp. There's ashes everywhere. People are walking around. Everyone's giving this big crater a wide berth. Nobody's getting near that. And the camera just sits there for like 10 seconds. And then a bloody hand emerges from the hole in the earth. And that's the last thing. Like, it immediately cuts to black. Credits. Bum, 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 bum. The end credit music. That's Avatar Legends. Thank you all so much for playing. It
That
was
was
a
so
delight
dope.
to meet all of your characters and run the game for you all.
Yeah, we had a fantastic
Yeah,
time. Thank
You're
you
a
so much.
phenomenal GM.
Thank you.
Just
Yeah,
gonna
that was
Yeah.
incredible.
Popping that out there, but
Yeah, we had a fantastic time. Simon, please take this opportunity to tell us more about yourself, where we can find you, and more about Avatar Legends.
Absolutely. My name is Simon. I am a pro GM with Magpie Games. I'm also a moderator for the Discord. You can find out all of the other side projects that I do. I wear a lot of hats on the internet, on Twitter at Lucha Libris. It would be super cool if you checked out the stuff. Magpie is running a Kickstarter for Avatar Legends right now that you can back, and you can get the game. You can get a shiny special edition with a reversible cover. You can choose if you want like a holographic Aang on the front or a holographic Korra. Two ends of the kind of the tails, however you want to do it. There's some wild dice from Level Up Dice, which they're like obsidian, like actual ionized obsidian. They look incredible. Go check that out. It's on all the information is on magpiegames.com. You can also follow them on Twitter at magpieofficial, and all that good stuff will be linked in the description as well with the link to the Kickstarter. So check it out.
Mhm.
We hope that you
Thank you so much, Simon. Genuinely
Yeah,
phenomenal stuff. We had an amazing time. And now I just want to keep playing
Same.
because we just finished the video. So thank you so much, everyone, for watching. I hope you really, really enjoyed it as much as we did. Please go check out Avatar on Kickstarter. We had a wonderful time with it. This isn't sponsored or anything. This is just our first experience with it, and I think we've all had a great time. So we're really looking forward to more of it. But if you want to see more of us, then please do stick around here on youtube.com/Dicebreaker. We have got all sorts of content here, including lists of game recommendations and reviews and interesting tidbits, all sorts of things that you might find here. As well as on dicebreaker.com, where Matt and Meehan, who joined us, as well as Chase and all the fantastic contributors, will be writing loads of articles. So check them out on there. Also hit subscribe and click the bell icon to get notified whenever we put a new video live. And if you want to support the channel even further, then we now have 2 ways you can do it. You can either sign up to Dicebreaker Plus to get some exclusive membership stuff, including new videos and emotes and badges and stuff. But you can also grab some merch if you want to show your colours in the real world by heading over to dicebreaker.myshopify.com. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this, and we will see you on the next video. But until then, have a lovely day. Goodbye.
Bye.